Gwyn was on the front porch, drawing on his boots. His mother helped him with his knack, buttoning it tightly at the neck. "Don't be long now," she said. "Just pop in and see if your grandmother needs anything. Come straight back or your cold'll get worse." "It's gone," said Gwyn. "The water's washed it away," and he tried to laugh, but the sound stuck in his throat. He ran down the side of the track where the ground was higher, leaping from island to island, his torch beaming on the lane ahead to ensure that the rivulets of mud had not encroached upon the remaining patches of dry land. When he reached his grandmother's cottage, the rain suddenly stopped, and beneath the clouds an eerie yellow light crept across the horizon. The dripping trees stood black against the sky, and the only sound from the innumerable stream gushing down the mountainside. There was no light in Nine's cottage. Gwyn knocked, but there was no reply. He opened the door and looked in. His grandmother's room was cold and dark. There was something dreadfully wrong about the place, an oppressive stillness that frightened him. He turned on the light and saw what it was. Beneath a grey veil of ashes, Nine's treasures lay in ruins. Pictures hung at crazy angles around the room, and the once bright scarves dropped in colourless shreds. The canary lay motionless at the bottom of its cage, and all about the floor were fragments of glass, books, ripped and spoiled, shattered beads and dying plants. Some terrible element had crushed and abused everything in the room that was part of his grandmother. Every object that she had chosen, nurtured and loved had been destroyed. Beside the dead fire, from where the flying ashes had scattered, Nine sat huddled in the chair. She seemed older, smaller than before. There were ashes in her black hair and her face was grey. Gwyn stepped slowly over the broken possessions until he stood beside his grandmother. "What happened, Nine?" he asked. "What has been here?" Nine looked up at him and her black eyes narrowed. "You know very well, Gwydion Gwyn," she said. "You know, and I know that what you have done, you mad, bad magician." "What have I done, Nine?" Even as he asked the question, Gwyn knew the answer would be, "You let it go." "My great-great-grandmother trusted me, and I trusted you, and you failed us, Gwydion Gwyn." "You mean the broken horse, don't you?" Gwyn cried. "Well, say so then. Speak its name. It was all I had. Arianwen had gone, drowned perhaps, and I had to get her back. Eirlis said I must." "But why the horse? Why the horse?" Nine rose out of her chair, and her voice rose with her. "Didn't I tell you to keep it safe, never to let it go? The spider would have returned to you. A creature like that could never die. She belongs to you, and you can get her whenever you want if you really try." "I didn't know," said Gwyn, "and I didn't mean to let the horse go. The wind took it." "What is it anyway? What have I released? How can I stop it?" "Only you can find that out, Gwydion Gwyn," his grandmother replied. "And I'm afraid for you. It is a strong and dreadful thing that you must capture." "But I didn't. You see, but didn't you see it? It was here." "Why did it do this to your room?" "Ah." Nine sank back into her chair and tried to stop it. "See? When I heard the noise in the air and all the birds stopped singing, when the hail began to batter the land and the trees trembled, I knew what you had done. So I went to my great-great-grandmother's books and I tried to find out how to stop it." Her voice sank to a whisper. "I burnt leaves in a bowl and some bones and berries. I began to sing, but it knew, didn't it? It knew what I was doing, and it came in through the door and knocked me down. It smashed my bowl and blew out my fire. So angry it was. It roared round the room and broke everything in its way. And then it went. And didn't you see anything? Nothing. It was in the wind, wasn't it? Gwyn was silent. He was terrified of the thing that he had to face, but determined to make repatriation. I'll help you clean up, Nine, he said. Leave it to me, she snapped. They'll be needing you at home.